Oakley. Good evening, heroes and heroines, and welcome to Practising Programming in C, where we are doing Cinera's config file parsing stuff. The main topic for today is variable resolution, but there is something that I need to clear up from yesterday. Yesterday we were doing a little bit of a tweak. I just have to excuse me if I seem a bit off. I've got a bit of a sort of dodgy digestive system situation going on. But yeah, yesterday we were doing just a very quick cleanup of the memory books stuff. Essentially, I was making sure that I was freeing the config correctly, and I realised after doing it that I'd forgotten to do one tiny little thing. You can see here, it's in this free project function here. I free the points to the medium, and then free the medium, and then set the medium count to 0. I free all of these guys, setting their counts to 0. I free this. So that means that I'm going through each child and freeing their things. But I think I'm right in saying that at this point I need to actually set the child. Sorry, I need to actually free the child. Right? I mean, this is what I thought I needed to do. Yeah, I do seem to have to do that. At least he doesn't complain if I do. So, my thinking here is, this is just going to be a very, very quick thing, but this is a pattern I'm doing quite often. You know, if you've got something that is a counted thing, and that has like an allocation for that thing, you have to free the allocated thing and then set the count to 0. It's quite a, you just see that pattern all over the place. Like there, you got it again. Here, you got it. There's only one config, so you just free the config and then that's it. I'm just thinking, before we get onto the resolution stuff, I'm just going to do a quick utility function, essentially, that is going to just do this little pattern for us. It's going to free the pointer and set the count to 0. And I mean, strictly speaking, it probably doesn't actually matter if I do that, because I'm freeing stuff anyway. So by the time you come down to here and you free something, what will it be? I guess when you free this, by the time you free these pointers, all these guys are going to go away anyway, right? So strictly speaking, it doesn't really matter. But because I forgot to do this one here, I think it would behoove me to actually just do a little function that does the whole thing. Because I evidently thought, after I did this, I thought that just setting the child count would be sufficient, which I don't believe it is. And just slipped my mind that I'd have to do this. So I'm going to do that little utility function. So that's a push. Free tokens set. Okay, yeah. So it's basically, it's just wherever I see this little thing here. So let's just do that. Free and reset count. think that should be correct. I wonder if I can do this. I probably couldn't actually. Do it in a way that's easily macroizable. I wonder if I ever actually call FreeScope tree with nothing passed as the actual thingamajig. At this point we should have a tree. You know, like I don't think any of the other free functions actually bother to check, do they? So I think that was just a product of us having just screwed up something, and that shouldn't actually be necessary. So FreeScope tree is going to actually do that. So it calls FreeScope tree first, which is kind of interesting. And then free the type spec. I guess it doesn't matter which way you do things. This is pushing a scope, so you don't need to free those guys. Do we also allocate for the memory book? I think this depends on how we use the book, doesn't it? On how we initialize it. Because you can see here we initialized this person, just putting it on the stack, so it's not an actual memory book. So we're not actually allocating for the memory book itself, which is different from the config. The config, we are initializing it as we are putting on the stack. See here. So yeah, that was in free book, wasn't it? Why did that end up down the... Ah, there's no count for the page. I see. The page count was out here. Yeah, which is fine. Variable count is equal to 0. Yeah, this is what we're doing today. Oh, right, it's the medium counts. It's Unit 8. I suppose that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Like, I can't really do this, can I? Oops. Yeah, I'm not massively sure how I feel about this. You're taking the address of a 64-bit, sorry, the address of an 8-bit value, and casting that address, I think, to treat that as a 64-bit. So it gets dereferenced to the 64-bit value. It's a bit sketchy. Are there any more? There are. I'm not exactly sure how I would go about testing this to see if it works, if it's the right thing. You know, like what I would be expecting. The other way around this is just to say that the medium count, you just say that that's going to be, well, they're all uint8s, aren't they? I was going to say you just change these to be 64-bit uint64s. I suppose we could actually test it already, couldn't we? Because, you know, before we go on to this, before we bother to write it out for the other guys, we could just step in and hit this particular line here and sort of figure out what we expect. Who calls FreeMediums? Oh, is nobody calling FreeMediums? Shouldn't Free Project call that? Because Free Project is going to have to... Oh, it's freeing the strings. That's what it is. And we don't give a shit about freeing the strings because we're using the book. So that's why we don't need to bother with this, actually. I think. Remember, because we changed the changed everything over to use the memory book. And then, yeah, so this guy doesn't need to actually call FreeMedium and free the strings. Right. All we need to have happen when we see these mediums is we need to go in. Well, we just literally just free that pointer, don't we? Because this is supposed to be, this is allocating the pointers into the things. So like, let me just show you, when we do free project, we're doing free medium, we just need to be doing this. We don't need to be going into each medium to free anything, because the only thing that a medium contains is strings. It's not like a person which can contain a number of supports. It's literally just one block of stuff. So I think these can go, pretty sure. And then we've got the, let's go back up, count equals 0. So yeah, we can't actually test the freeing of that thing. Free and reset count, because it wasn't being called. I think we should get the error here, shouldn't we? Because this was a uint 8. So, what we were suggesting was that we do... sorry, need to cast it to 64. We're going to suggest this, weren't we? So, in order to get to this... Wait a minute. Is anybody actually calling this? Oh, the free config should be, shouldn't it? Yeah, free person. So that'll free this. Unfortunately, that's the first thing that they will be freeing. It'd be nice if we could get a citer on an actual successful free to see what gets passed and all that kind of stuff. So I suppose we could just leave the free person as it was. Right, so I can at least watch one of these calls happen. And then after we've seen that, we could then do our new version on this, couldn't we? I think that would be reasonable. So basically we come in, we're basically breaking on this free person call, and we're just going to step into it, and I think we'll be just seeing what would we be seeing? But it might even be easiest, but it would be better still. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how we could do it. I was going to say, like, I suppose we could try and step into this, couldn't we? See if we get any calls to free and reset count before any of these guys, just to see what they get past. I mean, it's possible this is just completely right and it just does work, and we've got nothing to worry about, but I'd like to have some verification of actually what is going on in terms of passing the right thing here, and in terms of this particular cast. So I don't want to get it busted. Are we calling free config actually? Just double check. We are calling free config, so yeah, like I say, it's possible that it's right. One thing we could actually do, we could just say it's going to have to be this at some point. Right, we do this, and then all we do is, in the person, we just change that support count to be a 64-bit value. Right, so we don't need to cast that to be, we don't need to cast that in the same way that we're casting this, right? So what we should be able to do is to break into this line here so that we get into free person. I mean, we could break on here actually. See see where P support count is in memory, and then see what we end up passing. See what free and reset count receives on its side. If you know what I mean. So we never hit that free person. Do we not? Probably don't add him, do we? Do we not do that? Oh, we don't. Yeah, we're just doing push project onto config. Do we have a push person onto config? Yeah, we don't have, that's the thing, we don't have a push person onto config, so we're not doing that, we're not actually handling that yet. What else have we got that we can actually kind of test this thing on? I mean, I guess we are freeing some stuff at least. So just hold on just 1 second, I'll just put the person back as it was. And I put that back as that was as well. And what else was, what's down here? This was free config, so we're freeing on the person. I think I'll just put that back as that was as well. And let's just say inside the free project, right? Because we are going to get to free project at least, because we are pushing some stuff on. We are going to have a medium count as well, and we're going to have a child count. So we can at least do some stuff on those. So I'll tell you what, the plan is this. Let's use our new function here. And I think, will this be a uint8? Yeah. So I can actually test that on there. And what's that? That's also complaining about something. So let us just change the medium count in a project to be a uint64, which is what free and reset count expects to take. And let's change this call here to actually cast this value, which itself is a uint8, cast this to a pointer to a uint64. So we can just see if there's any difference between these two things. It's possible that we could actually see if it crashes now, couldn't we? It doesn't crash. Okay. We do get to here. Great. So the free project call is at this address. The P, well, it's the P at this address. So I guess, can we just actually break into there? Okay, cool. So this is seeing that this is this. It's going to be dereferencing it as a 64 thingamajig. is at this address. So when I step into here, we find that the count is set to the count is at this address. So I think that is all the information that I need. If I just continue out of here, and I look here at the FreeChild count. So this is a uint 8, and it's at this address, right? All I want to make sure is that free and reset count ends up with FreeChild count at this actual address. Oh shit. Is that a problem? Oh no. What happened there was that it just called free project. So I need a way. Bollocks. Yeah, what's happened? I went into this loop. Hold on. I need to get myself out of this particular loop. Unfortunately, I don't know that I'll be able to determine which one I'm in. I suppose once I'm down to here anyway, I don't care, do I? Because I still, wherever I am, I want to be making sure that this particular thing is being passed to free reset count correctly. So I'll probably expect, I'm currently on this line, if I continue now, I'll probably expect to break on this line again in an interior call to free project. Yeah, and that's probably exactly what happened. So let's remove that breakpoint. Let's continue down to this one here. So let's now look at this address. So this is there. If I now step in, we find that free reset count has been passed a count at this address. So this was the address that we thought we were dealing with, and those two things match. Yeah, so that is fine, I think. It's come through as a uint64t pointer as we casted it to. It's all the same. So yeah, I think that's perfectly safe to do. You just cast it like this. I suppose I should just mention that the only reason I had to look into this is that I haven't actually read the spec. So I'm basically learning C through using it rather than reading the spec. Possibly not the most kind of expedient way of doing it, but that's how I'm doing it. And also, I believe the C spec is quite short anyway, so I mean, I might as well actually look and read it. So, on we go. Let's just do it. Backwards. Guest and co-host. And then we've got the same down here. And finally, project. And it should be below, shouldn't it? What's going on here? Did I pull too many lines down? It also shouldn't be P, should it? Should be C. Okay, let's see if this crashes. It doesn't crash. What have we got up here? Oh yeah, and this was the free person that we couldn't test, so we can now go back and just write that. See if we've got any more count equals zeros in the file. Got a variable count there. Trees and tree count. So that's only nulling out the trees. Oh, it's pushing. This is the push scope, so it's not freeing anyway. FreeScope tree. This is doing a free. So yeah, oh no, it's a FreeScope tree. So it's not a simple free. So this is an actual one of these dudes. Let's just go down to free config quickly. So this is doing, yeah, it's free project, and it's doing a free C. Yeah, I believe this is okay now. Yeah, let's go with that. So, resolve variables. And resolve string. Okay. So our goal here is, I reckon we could start off by getting the other version of these guys working, I think. So we've got the scoped version doing basically its thing. Let's do the non-scoped version, and then let's get on with doing all of the different variables essentially. And also I think last time I was talking about trying to roll this routine into this case here, and I think that would be a reasonable thing to do, because essentially we have to have seen one of these in order to consider the consider this character to be a variable kind of indicator. So let's do that. Actually, we do after incrementing past this, We probably do actually need to do the check to see that we're still less than the length, don't we? So all we're doing here is setting the extent of a variable which we want to pass to resolve local variable and then resolve environment variable. And it's test which we're passing through. So if we see this, I think we just straight up get ourselves a string test going. Yeah, then we just don't care about the other thing, do we? So that's interesting. I guess this ohm here. Well, hang on a second. What have we got? Owner Amelie. I guess we're just not handling those at the moment. HML do. Also, I'd just like to say that we probably want to kind of, where would it be? It'd be here, wouldn't it? You'd probably want to do the actual resolution down after we've figured out the extent of the thing, wouldn't you? And what is pointer plus equals resolution length is supposed to be doing exactly? Where is pointer? Pointer's right up there. Oh, we're finally using. Setting that to be there. What is this doing exactly? Oh, this was just bullshit stuff, wasn't it? This was just before I was even doing any of this. It was literally just counting up the number of variables. So yeah, we don't care about this at all. Yeah, I think that's perfectly safe to do. Let's just null this out. And what doesn't it like now? It doesn't like variable count. Okay. We probably don't care about the variable count actually either, because as we go through these, we're just going to be pushing them all onto the thing anyway, writing them into the pointer. So the base length, yeah, so there. So here we go, we see this, we increment past it if this character is this. Otherwise, we say that the test base is that. I'm sure I didn't. Why? See what happened there? It kind of yanked two characters. Maybe I just didn't quite double hit it, and I don't know. Test base is equal to this. It's essentially like while I think I also do need to actually do the yeah, so encouraging I is going to get us through the actual thing. Yeah, and I is predicated on the actual S length, so yeah, that's still fine. Right, cool. Got a 0 page read on print C. It's got owner. So why is that happening? That's happening in resolve string. Where are we here? I think we're resolve string. Resolve environment variable, print C. So it's trying to print C. Ah, environment variable that we don't know about. Okay. That isn't valid. So, resolve environment variable. That's for the owner. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? If there's no resolution. We're going to end up in a situation where the result, well, the result is only an integer. Okay, so that's only supposed to be saying the length of the string. Yeah, I guess that's fine, actually. It just increments, it just makes it nothing, no size. So now we're missing out a forward slash. Here, home bat, Cinera. What do we do? So where is that happening exactly? So we see this. Give ourselves one of these test strings. Increment past the $sign. Set the test base to be there. For the HTML dir, by the way, or at least for, well, certainly for assets read dir, we are going to be getting into this branch here. Resolution length. What? Let's just. I think we did see, didn't we? That home it does include, or it doesn't include the. It does not include the final /, which is what we seem to be missing in this area here. Home map www. That'll be a problem. Yeah, there we go, our thing back. But now we've got a thing down here now. Cinera HTML. It now has an incrementer past there. Let's just put that back a second. Maybe in this loop here, it's like if I is less than the s length, then increment I once more. To get it after the I'd like to see what this print string actually yields, honestly. Let's just try it though. So that's too far. So, is it that we need to actually decrement I? I mean, if you decrement I, then you end up with this. I wonder where that's actually coming from. Just give us a sec. I'll be back in just 1 minute. Why is it the 13th? Daughters Did You Do was released on this day, was it? In 2001. Let's put on one of Beats and Pieces' albums. This is already in my list. There we go. Let's do another 38 minutes. 38 minutes and then call it a day. Like, because my concentration is super short at the moment. Due to this little, I don't think it's a stomach bug, but it's just a bit of a distraction. So, let us try and see if we can get a bit of a picture of what's going on. We should see those resolutions going, shouldn't we? Let's print these guys in cyan. So they all seem to be looking correct, don't they? Like they do not seem to be cut off. So essentially we're looking for also just indent it as well so we can see it a bit easier. So we're looking for what they're getting resolved to. I don't think I necessarily need to be bothering to print out this whole thing anymore because we seem to be getting what we would want out of it. So let's just prevent that from printing out wherever that's happening. Is that right? Could that be right? We've got this pattern twice. Maybe it is right. Got it again there. For I and I. Project. So it's trying to resolve project. Let's just see where that's probably happening. Well, I suppose it's absorbed something, hasn't it? Well, it wouldn't have absorbed this because the project book is a sibling of Risky, so it shouldn't know about that. Oh, search location. So these guys, it could be absorbing one of these guys, couldn't it? Okay, so I can believe that that's fine. It does two lots of projects. There's also a project up here too. This is a very cool album, by the way. Beats and Pieces, eponymous. It's actually an EP, and I don't think it's available anymore, sadly. So on top of the tease of you seeing the fact that I'm listening to this without being able to hear it, you also have the additional tease that you can't even go and buy it, which is unfortunate. So yeah, everything seems to be resolving perfectly fine. At least the guys that we're actually resolving, the ones we're handling. We're handling environment variables and we're handling the project ID. So all these ones down here are probably things that we're not handling at the moment. For example, person, we're not handling person. Or family, or owner. So let's just go back and let me just print out the book, print the config again, rather, because we were seeing some unexpected stuff, weren't we? So yeah, okay. So HTML, we were seeing that we were correctly getting this stuff out. But we were missing out the /. Probably because of this, isn't it? Right. We're going to increment past the valid character. The next character will be the /, which we're going to be, unfortunately, incrementing past here. So how do we handle this? I mean, it kind of seems like we just want to be saying I think it's just in this case, isn't it? we back up the eye just to let it re-increment there. Well, it's not equal to a closing brace. Then we do that. If it becomes that, then we pop out of this. We don't perform this thing. This guy should then pop us past this, if need be. So I know it looks a bit dodgy, but I think this should be more like what we're after. Unfortunately, we still get this, don't we? I mean, the alternative would be, rather than doing that down there, you do it here, separately. I would do it also here, just, I mean, right? Okay, let us step in. I'm clearly not seeing something important here. I mean, when I do that, I get the 1 / correctly at the end of this. Maybe it's just a condition on, like, if yeah, okay, I've got no idea. No sensible ideas. So let's step in. When it's HML dir, what can I actually, how can I step into this easily? Because it's resolving memory box scope tree parent string. We're not pushing a medium. We're pushing a support. Oh, I know what we could step into. It's down here, isn't it? It'd be, yeah, if I just step into this particular line here, I should be able to get into the resolve string for that. Yeah, that's what I'm after. Archaeologically, here we go. So let's just have a look at the string first of all. A string of length 32. I presume that's just that. Well, it's probably not going to include that. It's probably going to be that, I reckon. Let's continue. First thing we see is going to be one of these dudes. I guess it's noteworthy that there are multiple. That could be getting in our way, actually. Well, actually, I don't even know if we are handling multiple thingamajigs. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're getting here. And we're going to increment past the dollar. Is it that? No, it isn't. So having incremented past that, we're going to be looking to determine the extent of this thing here. So I is 1. So it's 1 character into this string. Right, so we found home. We're going to fail to resolve the local variable for there. So we'll need to go into the resolve environment variable. So that's going to be home mat. Yeah, there you see it. So resolve environment variable printed out that itself. And the resolution length should be 10 probably, shouldn't it? Blimey. Yeah. Where's the point at the moment? The pointer seen at home mat. So we're being told to increment past there. Oh, sorry, yeah. Resolve environment variable. Write it to the pointer. So that's fine. And the rest of it is just uninitialized probably. So having done that, we're going to increment the pointer. We shouldn't hit the default path. I is now at 5. So that means that 0 is the... Well, I mean, we can sort of see, can't we? If you just print this. It's at the /. Yeah, and it's going to increment past it. So that's where we're losing the /. So clearly that ain't right. Let's just go on though and see what else we can see. Because there's, like I say, there's 3 variables in play in this string. There's the home, the owner, and the family. We're not going to be able to resolve either of these. Oh, that's probably what it is actually, isn't it? It can't resolve that. So it prints nothing. And it can't resolve that. In fact, yeah, we're probably fine. Jesus Christ. That's probably all that's actually happening. Isn't it? So obviously this isn't right to increment the I here. We do need to make sure that we only increment it, or that we kind of roll it back in one of the cases. But in the case that we're finding that we're getting multiple forward slashes at the end, that would be perfectly right, because we're not resolving these guys yet. How long have we got left? 22 minutes. Let it be over. Right. So, I think we're fine. I think we're absolutely perfectly fine. We just need to make sure that we actually handle the other guys. And we also, like I was saying the other day, we need to make sure that we actually correctly handle the situation where one of these people is like validly zero length, so that it doesn't go on to resolve a variable by mistake, essentially. So where's resolve local variable? So, yeah, resolve local variable. This is going to have to resolve the actual thing, ain't it? So what was it we were looking at? HMOD. So we need the owner of the family. Alright, let's just at least do that. Scope tree. I think we just need to loop through the it's getting the value, isn't it? Do we have a get value call? Get get pair. Essentially all I'm saying is like for it's kind of like that, isn't it? Doesn't like that. Is it just this? So we didn't get anything more out of that. It's kind of interesting. I would have expected that to give me something at least. Obviously, I'm going to pull this out into an actual function so that multiple people can use it. Resolution is a string. think I might as well sleep. Just so I can actually see that happen. Yeah, we do get there. Resolution is equal to that. Oh, it's not a scope, is it? Sorry, it's not a pair. An owner is an actual scope, ain't it? Is that right? Jesus Christ, what are these guys? Init type specs. We're looking, what are we looking in here? We're looking in people's, aren't we? So within a project. Okay, yeah, so an owner is a string, it's supposed to be. Really? Do we not have that? Okay. So we've got this entire scope tree here. Right. And here we have owner equals Miyatatsu. Right. So, and this thing here, this owner equals Miyatatsu, is an actual string. Right? As in, it is a pair, a string pair. Ident owner. And I think, yeah, this should be saying that it is an ident owner, shouldn't it? I suppose we could also print each pair count as we go. So there's our owner. You just saw it. Huh, hold on just a second. Print pair, so print pair was happening. Did that build? Why is that not printing out all the pairs? You would have thought... Ah, actually no you wouldn't. There we go. So this should actually print out all the pairs. And then if we finally get into there, it should say we get there. So yeah, we do get there. So the resolution is apparently being set. Print string bulb blue. Right, okay, so that is being resolved to Miotatsu. So what's the problem exactly? It's writing it into the test. I'll have to step into this actually. You can kind of see actually here that in the case of this, we're going to be seeing if the key is the same thing. So we'll probably be able to make a nice little function that just does, it just gets the value of things, whatever they are, if you know what I mean. I believe the item project is going to be a special case because it's using the scopes ID. Whereas these guys are using the scope pairs I key. So we'll probably be able to say for all these different cases that are strings, they just use the same function. You know, we get the same resolution. Yeah. For the right thing. So let's just go in. No, actually. So we'll get into here. Can I print the dest under? Well, the dest is nothing. Resolve local variable. I guess it could be actually useful if resolve local variable prints out the entirety of the thing so we can just see what we're actually dealing with. Is that fair? I suppose that kind of counts. Didn't I just... Oh, that's going to step me out of the for loop. So that's Miotatsu. And then presumably we're writing that into the dest. Let's just step out of there. Pointer plus equals the resolution length. So at this point we've done that. Oops, didn't necessarily mean to lean on that. Jesus. So yeah, okay, so we've got home. Do we have the buffer here? Yeah, we do. So here we go. We've got home at Cinera, HTML, Miotatsu, right? So that's been resolved. That owner's been resolved. We're not doing the family yet, but that shouldn't obstruct our capability to produce this, should it? So we're gonna end up with the resolution with this string being owner, a family rather. Yeah. We're not going to be able to resolve that local variable. So we're going to get into here. This is going to report 0 length as well. So it's going to be just a / Well, really what we'd expect to see is essentially this, actually. We should expect to see this entire string. Incrementing I. So this is going to be that's probably it's the Y of the family. So when we increment I, this is going to get us out of the loop. Yeah, and then we do that. And then we're going to write string in book. And at this point, the buffer interestingly, we are seeing, even though we've set the pointer to be a null, don't you usually see that this would actually consider the null terminator? Doesn't that usually happen? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So you see it like this. So this should be being written to the book. Well, we're in wrap 0 here, but yeah. So we didn't actually get into the write string in book function, but yeah, that should have done it. Let's just see what this is doing exactly. I don't think it was that we stepped into, was it? So we've got home, Cinera, owner, family. I mean, where would be sensible to actually go to? I mean, I guess just down to here, isn't it? And see what the buffer says. Ah, interesting. Home at Cinera HTML. That is interesting. Isn't it? So it reckons it's the risky project. Let's just run it again and then just see exactly where we end up, how we end up getting to there. Yeah, I mean, this probably won't be actually the one I'm talking about, is it? We really want to get to this HTML dir call, don't we? Risky. Also, I guess project tree is more like what I want to be looking at. So it's got 15 pairs. Let's just continue on and just see if this is, because this is the first time we've actually hit this thing. Well, we've hit the owner. Which is fine, isn't it? It's the first time we see that we've hit that. Then we should pop out of this and end up going down to the right string in book. Oh yeah, this is getting the family in, isn't it? But even so, I think we found that we did get home mat, Cinera, HML, Miyatatsu, didn't we? Yeah, so we do get that on the first time round. Home mat, Cinera, HML, Miyatatsu. So it's the second time round. Am I breaking on the... Yeah, I am breaking on that, apparently. So I need to get to the next time we hit this. And step in there. Oops. So here we've got home, Cinera, HML, owner, family. So yeah, thinks he's looking for home. He's going to fail to resolve that. It's going to do whatever it does to do that, and it has printed out home, doesn't matter. So it's found that. Increment has passed it. Let's have a look at the parent again. So this is parent risky. Parent risky, it is permeable. So it should have absorbed. You know, it should have absorbed the owner, right? Let's just continue until we hit the next thing. So where are we actually? So at a forward slash. So yeah, we've just done home. We're at this forward slash. So we want to be outputting all of this stuff up to here. And then we should hopefully get into this case when we see the owner. So let's continue to do that. It's not a scoped variable. It's looking for the owner. So here we go. Step into resolve local variable. It'd be handy if I could just print out the entire scope tree. Well, I mean, I could do. actually, couldn't I? I could just make this call print scope. Actually, can I do that? No. What is a pair count as well? There's 17 of them. Let's just remove that. Maybe I'll just continue actually, so that I'm not seeing the same thing twice. And also, let me just so I don't end up going too far. So yeah, there was no owner. Which feels a bit dodgy to me. And that ain't gonna find anything. So it tries to do that and it's again finds nothing. Curious. Well, the music's finished, so I think I'm gonna call it there. We haven't done an awful lot today, but screw it. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly at all why we shouldn't be seeing the owner. Because the owner should be being absorbed. Search template, search Ray. Okay, so this is actually handmade Ray. Ain't it? So handmade Ray doesn't have an owner. Is that right? Oh, is this just because I misconfigured it or something? Oh. Oh, dearie me. That'll be why. It's because I just haven't set the owner. So yeah, that's a nice thing to have found, actually. We probably will want to report somehow, won't we? Well, let me put it this way. Rather than doing get config identifier from string in the resolve local variable function, right? Rather than doing that here, do that out here, right? So we're going to pass, we're going to get the resolve, get the ID, get the what do you call it? Get the config identifier. If we can get a config identifier, then we can know whether something is even could even potentially be a local variable, right? If it couldn't even potentially be a local variable, then we go and just resolve it. We try and resolve it as an environment variable. That's probably what you actually have to do, right? And then in the resolve local variable function, what you do is if you just say, if it couldn't be resolved, then you just report that to the user, right? That should be sufficient, shouldn't it? Yeah, I think that's what you should actually do. I don't think I've got any credentials for Casey at the moment, but if I just set this to Mitatsu, yeah, we do find that it gets set. And actually, if we do set this to Casey's name, what happens? We do get hit Seymour Missouri. Now the interesting thing about that is that there isn't a user called Seymour Missouri. So we probably actually, what I mean by that is, at least I don't think there is. There's no person called Seymour Missouri. So we probably actually need to make this check to see if that person even exists. And also, yeah, talking about people at the moment is a bit dodgy, isn't it? Because we really need to have got ourselves into a situation where if you see the owner, in order to resolve the owner, you actually want to be looking up, you want to be climbing the tree and looking at the actual, you want to be looking at the actual person's, you want to be looking at the persons in the config. That's what you actually want to be looking at. Right, when you say owner, and then that can report whether that person even exists. So yeah, I mean, I guess unfortunately the way I kind of went about this whole thing is a bit unfortunate, you know, going for, I was trying to resolve the HTML. I was trying to resolve this, wasn't I? The HTML dir, which unfortunately contains an owner, and the owner needs to be treated specially, as does the family, frankly. The family needs to be treated specially. We need to be able to climb the tree to do that. But at least we are doing this now, which is at least something. Let's make a note of those little things. The configuration I was doing is observe either local environment according to that value. So what I mean by that is just this or that, right? And the other thing we wanted to do was, well, it's a special treatment, isn't it? It's like resolve the owner, and that's also in like, it's in the resolve local variable function actually. It's if it's the owner, climb the tree. I think that makes more sense. Or I guess actually what you're doing is you want to get this value of the owner, but then after having done this, you actually need to resolve this. You actually want to climb the tree and see once we've actually got the value of this owner, because we only have that from in here, right? Say like we've got this here. What was it? Right, say that we've got that there. We have that value here. If we so we've got that there, and let's just say that if we use this, we do want to be sort of figuring out this, don't we? But once we've got this, we do want to be checking if that owner even exists. I mean, I suppose actually you could do that earlier, couldn't you? Is that right? It's a bit dodgy, but yeah, I don't know. Let's just make some kind of a note. Okay, ready to do that. Let's just do a little note for the family as well, which I don't think we even have, do we, at the moment? Yeah, we don't. So this is going to be an if zero. So anyway, which is essentially like essentially. It's like putting the IDs and forward slashes. So yeah, let's leave it there. And continue tomorrow. So thank you very much, Heroes and Heroines, for being here, for being fantastic and beautiful and inspirational and heroic as always. An hour and 53 minutes, an hour and 54 to do essentially next to nothing, really. But that's okay, because we're doing it, we're getting there, we're figuring stuff out, and we are not coming in here with preconceived notions and the hubris that we know exactly what we're doing and that we are correct every time, regardless of what the evidence says to us. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Until next time, farewell for now.